Question. Have you ever dreamed about paying even more for a car that you already couldn't afford? Maybe a BMW or a nice Mercedes? No? Weird. Neither have I. Nor any other sane person I've seen. Yet somehow tariffs on imported vehicles will do just that. Think about it. Get a time machine made out of a DeLorean and go back to the 2000s. Aside from all the drama that will happen 1 year later. Ooh, this is focus on cars. But when BMWs were not $80,000 plus tax, and if you're not careful, because a lot of people are not careful nowadays, throw an interest in the mix, because why not, right? My name is Manuel Rivera, and today we will dive straight into the real impacts of vehicle tariffs. And trust me, sit down and get some popcorn, because this is more than just a boring wagon. It's about your job, your wallet, most definitely about your sexy dream car. While many politicians sell tariffs as patriotic protection for American jobs, they end up hurting Americans too, like raising prices for customers. I mean, have you ever actually taken a look at the price of eggs recently? Those things be popping out gold. Oh, jeez, let's not even get into the gas. Doesn't even mention that. Tariffs also damage the relationship between countries. An example of this would be Mexico. And sometimes, well, most of the time, they end up hurting the very industries they claim to protect. Alright, first up, let's talk about money. Because, let's be honest here, money talks, and mine usually just says goodbye. According to AP News, the tariffs will jack up the price of a single car by $5,000 to $7,000. By the way, this does not come with a fancy new sunroof or fancy new wheels or a fancier and better looking car. No. This is simply just tariffs. I mean, think about it, people. If the goal is to make American products more appealing, how exactly does making everything even more expensive than it already is helping us do that? Remember back when you had friends? They got mad because you didn't share your fries or your gum? Yeah, tariffs are just like that. But instead of fries, it's billions and billions of dollars and very, very angry looking world leaders. The Peterson Institute for International Economics shows how every new tariff implemented by Trump leads to a swift retaliation. Like a slap, or a boxing match, or whatever fight you were thinking of. With entire economies. Many countries are now retaliating by implementing tariffs in America too. Let's not forget the China and America boxing match, where tariffs reached a new world time record of 300%, just in retaliation. Yep. So when your biggest allies that have helped you throughout the years threat revenge because of your brilliant 300 IQ economic plan, is it still a win, or maybe just a very expensive and selfish way to lose friends? Newsflash, people, tariffs are supposed to protect jobs. Instead, they're stabbing them faster than Michael Myers stabs a perfect jawline guy in a horror movie. Miss you, sir. There are honestly new reports on this every day. Like reports about automakers who build in the US. In this case, it's BMW. Taking hit after hit straight to the shin has to hurt. And there's gotta be a limit too. Because tariffs also affect the foreign parts they need to make the cars inside the country. Fewer parts equal fewer cars, which also comes down to the power of fewer jobs. What a dilemma, right? It's all a loop. You need foreign parts for cars built in the US, so in the end, you will still pay the tariffs. There's no running away from that. So, how exactly can you save American jobs if you're constantly making it harder for American factories to even stay open? Oh, and if you're thinking, I'll just buy American made cars, think again. Because a lot of American vehicles use foreign parts, so tariffs will still apply no matter how much you try and change that. In the end, you end up paying more for a car that was built here than it was built in another country. They're like the ex-girlfriend that never got over you, so now she always texts you and is always in their DMs. I'm not speaking from experience. You know who else hates auto tariffs? Or trading partners. When the US slaps tariffs on imports, allies like the EU and Japan, they don't just send a thank you card. They retaliate. They want revenge, and the revenge is totally guaranteed. And they do it in the way it hurts us the most. Now keep in mind, Japan has been an ally of the United States and has been for the past 70 years. And now that's all being threatened by tariffs, of all things. Yeah, that's right. Tariffs. There are also more countries than just Japan. Take BMW. A BMW plant in South Carolina, one of the largest auto exporters in the US, when tariffs hit, their foreign sourced parts became more expensive, slowing down their whole production system. And hell, they even had to lay off some people because of the price that everything costs now. The labor market is quite inflated. The Guardian reported that rather than hiring more Americans, companies like BMW's froze hiring or cutting jobs to offset cost. Okay, let's match this up. Let's give the other side a fair shot. Some politicians argue that tariffs protect struggling domestic industries, and that's true. Tariffs are indeed a way to protect domestic companies from outside foreign companies' competition. This does promote a new creation of business inside the Americans. It also creates an opportunity for Chinese companies to split from the normal com and go make a business in the US. How this works, they would split and they will take their business to the US. Now, that right there is a US business. It has relationships with China. So there's a bonus there. You can't really outsource the company, right? You can't really forget about the competition. The logic is, if foreign cars cost more, then Americans will buy more vehicles inside America. That's a very well-planted logic. I mean, think about it. Cars made in America don't have tariffs. They don't have all the things that would require other outside foreign countries to transport those vehicles inside America. However, if you slap the tariff on half the parts in a Ford, is it still buy American, or is it just buy and a half American? Buying half American and half BMW, or half American and half Toyota. I mean, foreign prices that would hurt us more than it would benefit us. Now, some studies do show that there is a short-term industry gain, but this come at the expense of long-term global competitiveness. Companies adapt by automating or moving somewhere else, doing business in other countries that does not include America. Countries that are not stupid and don't implement taxes, don't implement tariffs on their imports. So even if it sounds like a good idea on paper, the real world is more like duct tape on a leaky dam. It's a problem that could be fixed by just signing a paper. But ego is far more stronger than paper. Paper does beat rocks, so it's that too. Here's my conclusion. When you take a step back, tariffs on vehicles sound strong, but they don't stand up to the amount of aid they are currently receiving. They hurt the very people they claim to protect, to help. They strain global partnerships, and they leave American workers and consumers footing the bill. They fuck us all over. Us. Politicians don't care about paying a little extra. They're millionaires. They don't care about that. And sure, waving the flag feels good in theory, but economic policy shouldn't just be a fun new buy. To actually work. So next time someone says tariffs are the answer, ask them this for me. Yes to what? And for who? So, after 15 minutes of tariffs, trade wars, and thousands of dollars price hikers, what have we learned? Well, we learned that tariffs aren't just economics textbook material, they're not stupid. They affect your next car loan, your next finance on a car. They affect your friend's factory job and the price of groceries, the price of eggs, electronics, and hell, if you're up for it, even liquor, because why not? This isn't abstract, it's personal. When we say we're protecting American jobs, do we mean all jobs or just carefully chosen few jobs? When we claim to be tough on trade, are we defending the economy or playing poker with people's paychecks? Just going to a casino and just hoping that the best happens without a plan. Some will argue that tariffs are necessary. They're a necessary leverage in a world of a complex global trading system. Sure, yeah, the world isn't fair. China explained this quite truly. Europe slaps its own barriers, but here's the catch. Retaliation is not a strategy, and economic pain isn't leadership. Real solutions come from innovations, investments, and collaborations. All of that can do it together. Not price hikes disguised as patriotism. So, after 15 minutes of tariffs, trade wars, and thousands of dollars price hikers, what have we actually learned in this video essay? Well, we've learned that tariffs aren't just dusty economic textbook materials. They affect your next car loan, your friend's factory job, and the price of groceries, eggs, food. I mean, some food can be grown inside America, but we don't have the environment to grow all kinds of food. We outsource from other countries, and those countries, well, they affect us in the end. They affect the food you eat, they affect the car you drive, and they affect the price of your groceries. It's not abstract, it's personal. When we say we're protecting American jobs, we mean all jobs, which is carefully chosen few. When we claim to be tough on trade, are we defending the economy or just going to a casino and playing poker? See if you get a right hand, if you get a royal flush, right? Some will argue that tariffs are necessary. A world full of complex global trade. Sure, the world isn't fair. China subsides its industries. Europe slaps on its own barriers. But here's the catch. Retaliation is not a strategy. And economic plan isn't leadership. Our real solutions, they come from innovations, investments, and collaborations that would in the end just not just help us, in the end would help the entirety of all the countries that participated in said innovation. This not only gives us a more stronger relationship with the other countries, it also strengthens our economics or economy. Not price hikes disguised as patriotism.